Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna give it to you. By now, you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, the worded on the street that the higher in your heart is out. I'm sure you heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads they have to walk are winding, and all the lights that lead us there are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. 'Cause maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my Today was gonna be the day, but they'll never throw it back to you. By now, you should have somehow realized what you're not to do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads that lead you there are winding, and all the lights that led the way are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. Alright guys, hi, yeah, hi. Okay, so, that was my cover, I want to say, yeah, my cover of Wonderwall. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. I think I like that song. I think I covered that one pretty well. So no, I'm gonna be doing a couple of things today. Yeah, the last time I did it, everything just got screwed up. So, like, rewind, stop, rewind, let's do this again, let's try this over. So, yeah. This shit just fucking works. Sorry, I've got like a million lighters and half of them don't work. So what are we talking about here today? Alright. So I have my charms. I'm doing charm magic, okay? For those of you who have not been following that portion of segments, and you're just arriving, go back and watch the other videos about the spells and things. So, you know what the hell it is I'm talking about. Alright? Now, this here, as you can see, it resembles something very similar or close to DNA, right? There's a reason for that. And that reason is because of, well, I mean, how else do I put this, guys? Everything is magical. DNA is magical. You as a human being, or whatever you are, it's magical. Okay? And, this lovely thing, it's more than just magic. And it's more than just a charm. It's more just for one thing. This thing is your life's work. Your life is in this. What do I mean by that? Okay, well, like DNA, each strand and notch, and I am gonna twist these up too, so it can like look like that. So it'll be a nice little helix, okay? So all of these notches represent something, okay? But like different memories and lives, and even past lives, if you have them and remember them, important things that you feel you need to remember, okay? And so what this is, it's basically like a diary or a history book. This is more special than something like a Book of Shadows. So it's all-encompassing magic, because DNA, which is all-encompassing of all life, and of all nature, and like if all life is nature and all nature is life, then DNA would be the perfect symbolic representation of it. So you're tapping into like all energies. Not all, but like all of the ones that you want to, I guess you could say, depending on what you focus on when you're braiding and wrapping, and you're going to be focusing on the things you want to infuse into it. So, and eventually, when I get to the very end here, you see these little hickey bobbers, they'll connect and they'll make like a necklace of sorts. So, or you can just hang it up, you know, whatever you want to do with it, however you want to use it. There's multiple ways to use it, and we'll go into that as well. Or if you want to, you can also turn it into like, oh, hang on, whoopsie doodle. So turn it into like, shit. Alright, so you can also turn it into like an amulet. Like, see my, this one's way different, but as you can see here, that DNA pattern, right? And then you also have this is my amethyst tiger's eye, and it's extremely powerful when it comes to not only protection but cleansing and healing energies. So it's extremely good. And actually, I'm gonna put it on right now because I want to look awesome with it. So there's that. Okay. Then the other thing you can do, and there are many ways that you can do these things. Like, I got the flower, you know, I can even put one of these flowers in there at some point, like notch it on, see? Or if I wanted to, I could use a gemstone or a talisman. Okay, so there's tons of things, seashells, feathers, whatever you plan to incorporate into like, and you can use anything. Okay, the sky is the literal fucking limit on these, and you can use them to make amulets and what was that fucking word? Oh, right. Amulets, talismans, and charms. Okay? So, there's a difference. Alright? This is a charm. It's a charm, but it's also an amulet. Okay? The reason why I say that is because of the knot work that went into it and the significance behind the stone. Alright? So this, and then there's talismans, which are just, well, something like that, too. Okay, so, I'm going to put that one on, too. Alright, so you have talismans, charm amulets, charm talismans, which I'll also cover, and then you also just have straight up charms. Okay, and a charm is any type of piece of magic that you work into as a spell with solely symbolism. Okay, so it's got to be one thing. It's got to be one object or one theme, one underlying principle. Alright, you have to keep it simple and basic. And what I'm going to show you and teach you is that charm magic is the most complex and advanced magic, magically speaking, on the inside, right? Like how it works, but the most simple magic to do. Okay, so if you're a beginner and you're looking for spells that pack a punch, and you don't want to go with a charm spell, any kind of charm, alright? These are very hard to break, and they're super easy to make. And then I'll also get into, I'll get into cursed objects as well in a sec. Because they are charms, they are a type of charm, as well as talismans and amulets. However, they're not good, you know. Like, don't do that. Don't, like, unless it's one of those instances, okay, where you have absolutely no choice and you've done absolutely everything in your power to take precautionary measures and protect yourself, and at some point you're going to have to attack somebody or retaliate or teach them a life lesson because they wronged you very deeply or somebody you love, and you know they're going to hurt somebody again. That's different. okay? And that's what curses and black magic, and we'll cover that later. Alright? What it's about. It's not so much meant to actually do evil. That actually is a perversion of black magic. It's actually more about taking control of your life and sometimes doing things that are hard but are necessary for the greater good. So, or learning a specific lesson that is very troubling and hard. It's going through rough trials, okay? So, black magic doesn't focus on evil. It focuses on, what is the word I want to use? Trials. It focuses on trials. So, it focuses on all of the crueler elements of life, and an attempt to help you get through it. So, right now, we're just gonna cover light magic, because I feel you're a beginner. You don't want to just go straight into the lion's nest or the scorpion bin. You wanna experience all the good magic can do first, okay? And I'm not saying that black magic can't be used for good, and actually it's supposed to be used for good. But I'm just saying you want to focus on the positive before delving into the hard, difficult, negative. So, if that makes any sense. I would hope so. Because so many people, they go straight to black magic. And they misuse it. And then they wonder why karma came back to bite them in the ass. Or they wonder why it completely backfired on them horribly. Or why they have demons after them. And other dark entities. And it's just a mess. Okay, it's a mess. Like, literal mess. Like, I know a girl who had freaking hellhounds after her because she tinkered with the wrong things. So don't dabble. Never dabble. And always know ahead of time what you're getting into and what you're doing and what you're using and why. So, I mean, so many people will look at magic and go, well, it's not rocket science. No, it's not, actually. It's freaking harder than rocket science. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna mix the wrong things, and it's gonna blow up in your face. Okay, you're not gonna get rocket fuel, you're gonna get nitroglycerin, and it's gonna be bad. So, don't do that. I would hope not, at least. So for all of my students watching out there, I'm hoping that you heed my advice and take your time to learn the basics and the light magic first, and then work your way up to more advanced things. So this is just a slight introduction into advanced magic, but it's very simple. It's not only the most advanced form of magic, it's the most simple form of magic. So, we're gonna go over the basics, but first, I just wanna show you guys how this works. Okay? So as you can see here, I started off with this part. Alright, and this is just a basic loom, and I'll go back and show you how I did this. And then there are braids, okay, and then the braids get loomed, which is this, and then you add on, you do more, And you knot it off and you do more. And you see how this goes? You see how that works? Okay. So, and then I did it twice in a row there. And so now I'm on this portion. Okay? And so what I gotta do here is I'm gonna have to braid. And I'm gonna loom again. Okay, so in order to loom, you guys need at least about 4 strands of yarn, rope, string, whatever you want to use. I like to use yarn because it's colorful and like DNA, and DNA is actually very colorful, they're finding out. So yeah, they have like these blue purple bands. I picked a good choice. I know I did. So so there's that. So I'm gonna do this, and while I'm doing this and you guys are watching me and how I'm doing it and what I'm doing, I'm going to what I'm gonna do is, oh, I dropped something. That's alright. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play this very interesting video that talks about DNA and magic and metaphysics and spirituality, how it ties in with science. And if you don't know, like if you don't know the basics, okay, you don't know spirituality, you don't know religious study at all, you don't know science, then, and especially science, okay, because science is the study of all nature, right? And what is magic? Nature. Okay, so so really, if you're pagan and a starseed and an omnitheist and pantheist or whatever, or amalgamation of something like that, you're gonna see what I'm talking about, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, definitely, science is the study of magic. That's all it is. Or the study of nature. So, before we begin, I just want to let you guys know that all this is, it's very profound stuff. And if you're not ready to handle this kind of information, then just click out of this video and stay away from my channel, because I don't think you'd be able to handle it. If like if you don't think you're gonna be able to handle this information, just go now, because you probably won't. It's some pretty intense stuff. And let me find the one that I was watching earlier, because I want to find the right one, and because this one is really good. It's an extremely extremely good video, and I feel like everybody would benefit from knowing this. But if you're closed off to certain types of information, there's really no point in trying to explore it. And I'm not going to force you to. Oh my god, where is it? Hang on. Okay, hang on 1 second, guys. So anywho, I have to find this thing. This video. Yep, 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 yep. Come on, come on. I'm trying to find this thing. Here we go. No. Crap. It's around here somewhere. Just bear with me, folks. Bear with me. What the fuck? Shuckage. Major shuckage. I don't want to scroll down. Stop typing. People are blowing up the group and I'm trying to find this stupid video. I'm sorry. Well, it's not stupid. I need it. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, damn it. This really sucks. Ugh! Come on, people. Killing me, Smalls. Fuck it. I'm going to my main page. It's gotta be on there somewhere. I know I posted it. Hang on. This is such crazy retarded stuff. Oh, come on. Taking forever to load. Fucking load. Oh my god! Fucking serious right now? What the fuck? I guess it's not. Hang on. Okay.
Second, and we're going to cut to a little movie here.
Alright.
Hi, my name is Dan Winter. I'm a psychophysiologist. I work in biofeedback. and have discovered some very interesting things about the electrical nature of emotion. And in the process of doing that, we've been doing frequency signatures or harmonics of the heart at the moments when people feel bliss and joy and compassion. And we've discovered that at moments when people have intense emotions, their heart creates frequency pictures which are a powerful indicator that they're doing something electrical inside their body when they have emotions. And recently, with my friend Will here, we've been having these conversations about this Technocalypse television documentary that's kind of sweeping Europe. And we're a little troubled about a certain part of that. It has to do with the way in which they seem to be urging you to consider using little microchips and other ways to include machinery as part of biology. And they're kind of saying, well, there's nothing sacred about the shape of the body and the electricity of the heart, and machines can be doing this better. And so then we're actually stuck in the middle of something of a quandary, because my work on emotion has suggested to me that we could actually answer a profound question about what is the purpose of DNA in an entirely new way, which gives us a completely different view of what we should be doing with the relationship of technology to biological substances. So our little fun answer to this question of what is the purpose of DNA is very brief. It's called Bliss and the Magnetic X. And that's really the subject of our little story today. And it has to do with this idea that we believe we've discovered some secrets, some visions to exactly how human, passionate, bliss-related emotion actually gets into the genetic material. And therefore, emotion's ability to program and shape, and we're going to talk about braid the DNA, has everything to do with the genetic material having been in this profound shape which nature put it in. And if we go messing in there with this genetic engineering and all these chips in your cells, we stand to actually affect dramatically whether or not emotion can continue to program DNA. So in order to tell you this story, I'm going to show you some pictures of what we're calling the magnetic X generation. And it's kind of play on words from this old story of there's this, we had this post-World War II generation, the baby boom, and then there was the X generation. And the notion here is that if you feel enough bliss, it has an effect on your DNA, and we'll see that's been measured. So your DNA becomes a magnetic X. It's kind of a fun notion. So here are the pictures. First we look at this idea that, in fact, the X chromosome, which sort of determines what it is that makes woman versus man, actually has a magnetic field around it. This field is based on the geometry of the microtubules at the moment of cell meiosis or mitosis, cell division. And so you see that really this division of the DNA, the cell division moment of this living cell, is dependent on whether the X chromosome is literally, in a sense, magnetic. So the timing of cell replication, which when it's orderly it's not cancer, and when it's disorderly it is cancer, is dependent upon a magnetic field to align the microtubules and the DNA in this lovely ritual dance. So if the magnetic field's messed up, obviously the timing of cell division is going to be messed up. So we need to understand, where does the magnetic field around DNA come from? This is a picture from the early, and you can even zoom in right here. This is the early X-ray photographs of DNA when they first tried to model genetic material as having a double helix. The Watson and Crick moment was when they were able to interpret this magnetic X. They made an X-ray photograph. They said, oh, the only way you could cast an X-ray shadow of the DNA protein was to account for that, it had to be a double helix. So DNA as a double helix was first discovered specifically because, literally, the X-ray shadow of DNA was an X. It's a magnetic X. And we're going to see that has meaning in terms of what's squirting out of the places where the DNA crosses itself. Crosses itself, sort of makes a blessing. Well, the cross on the cross turns out to be the mechanism of braiding, which we'll see in a minute, may in fact be emotion-induced. So what we're getting to here is there might be a reason not to mess with the spacing between the codons of your DNA. And while all these biologists who are hacking up your DNA in this genetic engineering call it junk DNA, they're affecting the spacing, which affects whether this X cross in your DNA works to make a good harmonic squirt gun, a harmonic cascade, a way of laddering the frequencies. So let's look at some more of the pictures. The idea is that in the genetic material you have a nest of magnetic fields where each of the magnetic fields is like a donut inside a donut. And when the donuts or field effects nest properly in the DNA, then they make this X, which we'll see can actually project harmonics out through the throat of the X. And this becomes a way later we can talk about how DNA gets a field effect that goes faster than light. But let's just take another little simple picture here of how the braiding works. This is like how you make a ponytail in your DNA. So the point is, what the scientists who have been talking about your DNA may have been forgetting here is the difference between the short wave, which is this helix, versus this wave on the wave of the wave on the wave. So you get this braiding going on where you're going down the throat, where when finally you see this actual X in your DNA, what's actually happened is there's been a braid on the braid of the braid of the braid. And you have this very long wave now superposed in your DNA. Let's tell that story for a second, and we're going to cut to a little movie here.
Okay, I'm not going to do the movie right now because we're almost out of time. But in the next episode, I'll let them do their thing, and we can do our thing. Okay? So, and this is some very important information that he's sharing, and I happen to agree with him. Like, you can't just go tinkering around with technology and things like that. I mean, for certain things, I guess you could, but no. It'll end up messing everything up, you know? So, I mean, there's some very important stuff going on here. And he's trying to help us understand that our DNA is special. It's sacred. And you can't just make it whatever you want it to be. It is what it is for a reason. Scars, warts, and all, because it's supposed to be that way so that you can learn and grow and evolve. Now, as you go past that point, you know, you can't go any further. And so if people evolve beyond you, and you have all these like technology bits in your blood, and you're not going to pass on any useful genes, and you're going to set your own back a generation. Alright, Natty out. Till next time.